Hello Year 10. Today we will be looking at a 16-mark GCSE question in preparation for your mock next Tuesday. As you know, it is very important to get this question done in the time frame allowed for the exam. The question that you'll be focusing on for homework is, women in Nazi Germany were treated unfairly. To what extent do you agree with this statement? Explain your answer. The first thing we need to do is zoom in on the words. When looking at a GCSE exam question, firstly, we need to identify the topic. In this case, it is women in Nazi Germany. Then, we need to reflect on the statement. The statement is asking us to reflect on the treatment of women and whether we believe they were treated unfairly. Thirdly, it is important to zoom in on the type of question. This is a to what extent question. Therefore, you must make a judgment on whether you agree to a large extent or to a lesser extent. Remember, the question also asks you to explain your answer. That means that you must support every point you make with evidence and an extended explanation to pick up as many marks as possible. This type of question can be split down the middle. To achieve the maximum marks, you need to present a balanced argument before you make your judgment at the end. So, let's reflect on the topic. It is the treatment of women in Nazi Germany. To what extent do you feel women were unfairly treated? This is asking you to reflect on both perspectives. On the one hand, women were not treated unfairly. On the other hand, women were treated unfairly. And then you make your overall judgment. So, let's tackle the more difficult side first. On the one hand, one could argue that women were not treated unfairly in Nazi Germany. This is because women were seen as the carriers of the future master race, if they were Aryan. They were valued wives and mothers who cared for their Nazi husbands who were going to win the next war and create the Great Third Reich. Joseph Goebbels used his propaganda tools to promote the Kinder, Kirche, Kutsch 3Ks, women, children and the church. So let's look at the other perspective now, that women were in fact treated unfairly in Nazi Germany. Starting with young women, one must consider the limited curriculum on offer for females in Nazi Germany, focusing largely on eugenics and race studies. As women got older, they were also expected to get married as soon as possible and fulfill their role as a mother and obedient wife. For those women who were already of age by the time the Nazis came to power in 1934, they were often pushed out of important jobs and replaced by men. It was frowned upon for women to be independent and to work for themselves. It was important for the men in society in Nazi Germany to feel that they were the breadwinners. Goebbels also promoted an image of Aryan women only, and therefore those women that perhaps did not fit the aesthetically pleasing look of an Aryan woman would feel undervalued. Finally, it is worth noting that women were unable to express themselves. Female authors, journalists, teachers and lecturers were all put out of work in favour of their male counterparts. Once you have looked at both sides of the question, you need to make your own judgment. Remember, it clearly states at the bottom of the question that you must explain your answer. This means that when you make your judgment, you must explain why you feel this way. So, you have your question and a brief overview as to what to include. In the mock exam, you will have approximately 22 minutes to complete a 16-mark question. I expect you now to take what I have provided and complete the 16-mark question. Women were treated unfairly in Nazi Germany. To what extent do you agree with this statement? Explain your answer in 22 minutes. When the time has finished, please underline where you get to before continuing and finishing your question if you run over. Thank you and good luck.